Mackenzie Mbako has been had a rough go over the last couple games. What have you kind of assessed to be the thing that needs to be fixed, and what approach have you taken with him in practice to get him where you want him to be?
He's got to keep working through it. I mean, he's taking some good shots and he's just hadn't made them. And um, so I'm not going to throw him to the curb because he's a big piece of what we do. This is Eckler too, Charlie, by the way.
Okay.
Um, but we just got to keep working, man. Practice. That's the only way you get out of a funk is when you're struggling to make shots. You got to come in and put the time in and keep shooting and keep working on it.
Jack and then Mike.
Mike, how much have Malik and Bryson Tucker been able to practice lately since the last game? And do you expect to have either of them back tomorrow?
Well, a lot's going to depend on Malik today. He worked some yesterday. Tucker worked a little yesterday. I'll gauge it today. We got a 12 o'clock practice before we take off. So I'll get a better feel of where Malik and Bryson is at this point.
Niz and then Schumann.
Pardon me?
Yeah, Mike. Have you seen consistency from the guys in practice? I mean, you've kind of been up and down lately in games, but have you just kind of seen them be steady behind the scenes? What has kind of been like the last couple of weeks for you guys as you guys kind of practice through some of the struggles?
Well, practice is what it is. We work in practice. There's no days off. They get their days based on the NCAA mandate that allows them a day, so many days a month. But when we at practice, we work. I mean, we've had a couple of bad games. We went on a nice 5-game stretch where we played pretty good basketball, and then we got smacked in the face 2 games, and we responded. I thought in the Ohio State game, and now we got to get ready for Northwestern, who's playing some pretty good basketball.
Mike and then Alex.
Yeah, Coach. I remember a game last year against Kennesaw State where you turned to Anthony Leal in the second half when the game was kind of uncomfortable, and it seemed like you did that again last night or Friday night. What makes him a guy that you turn to in situations like that?
Well, he's a senior. He puts the time in practice when we going through our practicing sessions. And I trust him. I mean, that's a big part of it. And it's not to say he's going to come in and make every play that you ask him to make, but when you do throw him in, you trust him, and you're going to get winning plays, and that's important when you're trying to win basketball games. You got to trust the players that you put out there, and they got to trust you. And Anthony's kind of been that way since I've been coaching him. Hadn't played a whole lot, but I still trust the minutes when I throw him out there that he's going to give me something positive.
Alex and then Flick.
The last 4 games, you guys, I think, are 20 for 75, 26.6% on threes. What do you feel like the issue there is with the 3-point shooting and the consistency? It's been something that, obviously it's been persistent over the last couple of years. What do you maybe when you watch film and you talk to these guys, what do you think maybe the issue there is just with the consistency?
Well, early on we struggled, and then I thought we figured it out. We got our percentage up to about 36, 37%. So I was feeling pretty good about that. And then we hit a wall again, and I mean, we're not doing anything differently. We shoot them. Guys just got to be comfortable, man. I got to get them more comfortable in making them because we are getting some good looks, and especially from key guys that, we expect to make them. And, we just got to keep working. That's all you can do.
Daniel, then Rabbi.
Mackenzie obviously had a lot of stretches here the last few weeks where he just kind of hasn't been on the floor. I'm curious, is there anything apart from the scoring aspect of it that you'd like to see him improve at? And just kind of how have you kind of seen him handle the last, I guess, week or two here?
Well, a few games he's got in foul trouble, and then the game up at Ohio State, hell, you listen, man, I'm trying to win basketball games, and it ain't always the player. You know, the player's got to adjust to how you coaching in the game. And um, you know, we had a group in there that was pretty solid. So if you're about team, it shouldn't matter. You know, what I mean, it could be your night, the Northwestern game when we play on Wednesday night. So I mean, you know, we'll keep working with him. We got to get him back going because, like I said, he is a big piece to what we do.
Jeff?
Morning, Coach. Thanks for your time. On Luke Goody, since he's moved into the starting lineup, I think he's somewhere around 12 points per game, shooting fairly well. What are your thoughts on why he's been productive? And then when you guys return to full strength, how are you going to manage? Do I keep him a starter or do I start bringing him off the bench?
Don't know what I'm gonna do yet as far as that's concerned, but you know, Goody has some of the same looks early in the season that he was struggling to make, and you know, he's found his rhythm. And um, the other night he was bigger than ever. It's the most points he's ever scored in a college game, and um, you know, and I tip my hat to him because he works. I mean, he comes to work every day. He helps leads. Uh, uh, you know, he does everything you want in a player, and you expect that because again, he's a senior. He's been around and he's done it at Illinois, and so we expect him to do it here. So I'm very pleased, you know, in terms of how he's been playing, and we're going to need him to continue to grow and play at that level to help us win games.
Two more here. We'll go with Seth and then Alex.
Yeah, Mike, you've always held particularly high expectations for your seniors. Trey Galloway has dealt with some inconsistency so far this season. Just how would you assess what you've gotten from out of him so far this year, and where could he step up a little more for you?
Again, I'm not, you know, Trey Galloway came off of a major knee surgery, probably a knee surgery that probably takes a little over a year to bounce back. And, you know, he's given us all he's got. I mean, I can't complain about Trey. Trey's been a workhorse over the years for me. You know, I've gotten on Trey probably more than anybody that's still left on this team, and um, I love everything about him because I do know he tries his best when he's out there on the floor, and you know he's had his ups and downs, but hey, I'm willing to go to war with him every time he steps out on the floor. So I'm good with Trey. You know, he'll figure it out as we continue to go. I mean, he hadn't played bad basketball. I think he's been pretty good off and on for us, and he's helped us win some games. And we're going to need him uh, to stay positive and keep working because that's what he does when he's in practice. And a lot of that you see in the game sometimes because he plays hard.
Last question, Alex.
You guys obviously played, I think, Northwestern 4 times since you've been there. The 4 games have been decided by a total of 15, so it's been a lot of close games. What makes them such a tough matchup, and what do you kind of see as the keys going into tomorrow's game?
They play hard. I mean, Coach Collins, he pushes those guys to play hard, and we've had some close games with them, and haven't been able to get over the top. And you know, like I tell our guys, you know, before they get on this plane today to head up to Chicago, you can't go in there with a soft attitude and soft mind because I mean they're gonna force you to play hard, and you got to meet that. You got to meet that physicality because if you don't, it could be a long night, and that's where I think the game is going to be won tomorrow. Both teams, you know, I think we play hard at times. I just got to get us playing harder, you know, for 40 minutes consistently. And, you know, they've had their ups and downs as a team this season as well. But um, when you go on the road, you got to do everything right, man. I mean, it's hard winning on the road and can't turn it over. You got to rebound with them and you got to make shots. I mean, that's the key ingredient, man, and win the 50-50 game. So um, we'll see where we are come tomorrow night.
All right, thanks, everybody. We'll see you guys Wednesday.